Imagine a world in which all international transactions between individuals and companies, regardless of size, are conducted using the XRP system rather than SWIFT. We might perhaps be closer to that planet than we think. We will examine a whole concept that is built just on statistics. SWIFT will soon be replaced by Riplet in the conventional banking system. Furthermore, XRP, the cryptocurrency that underpins Riplet, is preparing for a task that is so crucial that it can only be backed by a $25,000 donation, despite the fact that it sounds absurd. By the you'll understand why it's not just feasible but also required mathematically by the end of this film. I want to start by discussing what we already know. Banks all throughout the world use SWIFT to transfer and receive money, and it is this culture that has enabled the global flow of money in the modern era. However, it takes a long time. It is expensive and frequently ineffective. It may take 3 to 5 business days to complete a transaction. When many agents are engaged, the expenses skyrocket and it takes days to complete. SWIFT was not designed to be utilized in the current world, despite being the industry standard for a long period. However, Riplet attempted to address issues that users currently encounter, including those pertaining to speed, efficiency, interoperability, and real-time payment. Let's make a guess now. In this fictional narrative, let's assume that SWIFT has the ability to go back in time. A confidential research conducted by the Bank for International Settlements is released to the public. It includes a comprehensive timetable, as well as a section titled SWIFT Decommissioning and Riplet Transition 2025-2027. Beginning with test links in the BRICS group countries and concluding with a 90-day deadline for global migration, the book outlines the measures that will be followed to bring about the transformation. After this transition is complete, the previous approach will no longer be effective. As part of the investigation, one truth cannot be disregarded. Since XRP must be a bridge product that offers sufficient value to make it possible to trade instantly across all currency pairs so that it can replace SWIFT globally. That each XRP was worth $25,000 was the least that was discovered. The sole purpose of this is to ensure that the real-time information flow is not impeded. It has stunned the market. It's accurate. Someone claiming to be close to SWIFT posted a phony tweet claiming the move was taking place. XRP is superior when it comes to tracks. Despite the fact that it is obviously only a hypothesis, people are curious about it from all over the world. For a long time, XRP has been considered a bridge asset. This refers to a neutral currency that makes it simple to transfer funds between various financial systems, and more than 300 financial institutions are currently linked to Riplet. In comparison to the current situation, it's essentially a typical move forward. Let's see what we can accomplish with it. Imagine that all of the major banks are in their shoes and that they must make payments immediately. In other words, XRP liquidity must be available for use in every deal, which is worth a total of $1 trillion every day. However, there's a catch. The maximum number of XRP tokens that can ever be produced is 100 billion. Many of them have been held for a long time, lost, or are still in the air in terms of confidence. The actual amount of liquid that is available makes up a tiny portion of that. If the world's banks must transfer funds to any location, where will they obtain XRP immediately? This is a communication from the market to you, from the purchasers. According to this made-up tale, banks are not only advised to purchase XRP, but are required to do so in order to continue operating in the new financial landscape. It all boils down to procedures that have the power to either save or destroy lives. Because to supply shock, XRP vanishes from exchanges and over-the-counter markets as soon as a large number of buyers begin purchasing it. The fact that tokens have the potential to become the most valuable digital money astounds those who have been investing in them. Items in the world. They receive this knowledge at this point. The cost has increased. It was $10 at first, then $50, then $500, and eventually over $500,000. Let's take a new look at this problem, shall we? Now that there are more deals, XRP must be available for automated market makers and liquidity providers to locate. People feel compelled to take immediate action when the demand curve rises. Large institutions like Citi, HSBC, and JP Morgan ought to purchase XRP off the market. Begin requesting extra funds. Clients of BlackRock and Fidelity can now access emergency cryptocurrency allocation funds. After XRP is listed on platforms, your chances of losing money increase tenfold. Another feature of the XRPL that helps to reduce the supply is a system that burns a small portion of every transaction. This is where the story shifts from being based on conjecture to being based on ideas. The technology developed by Ripple is now available to several businesses who previously opposed cryptocurrencies. Employees of Swift and EMP are experimenting with ISO 2022. Ripple already satisfies ISO 2022 standards. Ripple is now working on pilot projects that will join central banks in establishing a CBDC. While this jigsaw has been gradually coming together in the background, people have been shopping for hype tokens and meme currencies. Let's discuss the cost of $25,000. That sounds absurd when you consider how much money the world needs. According to the BIS, the foreign currency market sees daily transactions of over $7.5 trillion. Since it just takes 3 seconds to make the payment, there must be a lot of cash on hand. Even though XRP only accounts for 10% of that total, it still counts. Using only $1 in XRP, it isn't even feasible. Things were still difficult at $100, but the figures began to make sense around $25,000. With that pricing, 1 XRP can easily handle large bills without any problems. According to our fictitious countdown, Swift will cease operations in 90 days. The financial industry is currently in a battle against time. People who own XRP might face penalties, but those who do, particularly early adopters, appear to enjoy a significant strategic edge. The cost appears to be increasing. It's fascinating to note that news outlets that previously ignored XRP are suddenly lauding its benefits anew. It's a tale that has emerged over time. XRP has matured into an adult. For instance, experts are developing models that demonstrate how XRP's speed and use case can enable it maintain its worth even at a $25,000 price. Similar to how they once held gold, nations are now beginning to hold XRP in their national digital reserves. How about discussing the individual investor? People who continued to own XRP in spite of the delisting, the SEC litigation, and the threats from the media are currently causing the most significant shift in the history of money. The Swift firm has ceased operations. Ripple is now operational, and XRP is more than simply a coin, because everything has been converted to digital form. This is the area that deals with cash in the current financial system. Let's return this to the here and now. Please be aware that this scenario and story are fictional and intended to entertain and provoke thought. It is grounded in actual occurrences, such as the evolution of individuals. Even less pleased with Swift. The global trend towards CBDCs, Ripple's institutional partnerships, and XRP